Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing!
I say, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, there's no surrender. Yet I'm here, my battle cry.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Famous for being the birthplace of the automobile, we've headed about 600 miles west from Lime Rock Park to the beautiful state of Michigan. The Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle is bumpy and narrow in nature. It can throw a wrench even into the best gears, but this has never stopped these fearless guys from tackling it at once. Fabian Gerber, Rob Olenek and co will need to be extremely precise today or find themselves heading home early. From the beautiful Detroit River, it's round 8 of the Kamel GT Championship live here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines will be Adam Lindgren, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Good day to you, Adam. I personally love the challenges this circuit brings with it, and quite frankly, these cars will make it even harder to race clean around this place.
Good day to you as well, Stefan, and you are absolutely right about that one. The raceway on Belle Isle is located just south of Detroit, Michigan, or north of Windsor for our Canadian viewers, and is set up on the public streets of Belle Isle in the Detroit River, and is one of the only waterlocked American landmasses that happens to be north of Canada. This public park is transformed every year into an intense, bumpy, fast street circuit, hosting series like the Stadium Super Trucks, IMSA, and IndyCar, to name a few. This 2.35 mile or 3.78 kilometer circuit features 9 rights and 5 lefts for a modest of 14 turns. But it's the characteristics of this track that will prove quite a challenge. While the Audis may be fine over the rough concrete surface, the Nissan's tight suspension will be knocking the fillings out of those drivers' teeth and inviting a lot of wheel spin off of the many 90-degree corners. The Audis have to be careful as well, as their characteristic understeer will threaten to drift them out into the barriers on exit. Both classes will have their work cut out for them in multi-class cooperation, as there are only 2 good straights for passing. As always, patience is key in Kamel, but I'm tired of waiting to get started, so let's take a ride around Belle Isle in our GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Philip Lake in the GSRC Audi, so let's do a lap around Detroit. Coming down to turn 1, even though it's a hard braking zone here, it's still really tough to pass while entering the S's. The 4-wheel drive gives you some grip over the infamous hump, but don't push your luck because you can still easily find the walls on either side. Obviously, it'll be important to make sure you get a good run because the most popular overtaking spot is down here into turn 3. The main thing with this turn is to not outbrake yourself because there's very little room on the outside of the corner exit. From there, it's a short blast of 4, which is a little more open than you'd expect for a 90-degree corner and can hand you some time that's hard to find elsewhere. But 5 is the complete opposite, with a tall curb on the inside and a tightening exit. Then, you've got a little crest on your way into 6 that'll make the car understeer horribly. And often, this is what hamstrings drivers on the backstretch when they have to lift and ruin their momentum. Try to straighten out these gentle bends, and then with the long braking zones of the Audi, you're getting on the binders way before the kink on your way into 7. You can take a fair amount of curb, but be careful because you don't want to clatter the car off into the barriers. Now we're into the narrow fountain section, which requires a lot of patience and a lot of throttle modulation. Expect it to be mostly single file through here unless someone makes a serious mistake. And even if they do make a mistake, a track blockage is a very real concern to watch out for. Once you get out of there, you've got to prepare yourself for the last few corners. There's no room for error with the nasty curves to the inside and bare concrete wall to the outside. These are corners that will reward those who can be both precise and brave. From there, keep your foot in it all the way through the last bend and across the line, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Detroit.
Show Peak showing you how to exactly maneuver your Audi 90 Quattro around the beautiful Detroit Raceway at Belle Isle. One thing we also can show you most definitely is how you perfectly maneuver your way through the standings. And starting off will be our faster constant Nissan ZX Turbo in the GDP standings, led by Fabian Gerber, the Swissman. 125 points to him. As you can see, we have already added the first drop a week to everybody. Justin Albrecht, he drops 12 points, is now 11 points behind Fabian Gerber in second place. Fabian Jungbluth, third place. And then for fourth place, we have a change there between Martin Krejcik and Phil Lake. They swap positions, 45 and 48 points behind Fabian Gerber, respectively. But, Adam, how is it looking down there in the GTOs?
The GTOs, it's just as close, if not a little bit closer, actually, as we have, I believe it's Rob Olenek on the lead right now, followed by Nick Mukanos, and they're only separated by about 7 points. And then behind them, we have Ove Trangerade, who's closing in a little bit, 34 points back, and Riley Thompson, who has not shown up today, 45 points back, so he's going to lose a little bit more points, and Reed Miller, 66 points back of them in fifth position.
Close, tight, narrow. I think we're gonna run out of synonyms today for that word. But next up, the race details. And obviously, we're here round 8 after 12 week official series here of the Camel GP Championship. As you were able to see in the standings, we have 2 drop weeks for these guys. Race distance today, 40 minutes standard for this series. They obviously have 60-minute race, but that is not today. Setups, as always, completely open, and no fuel will be required for them. And you also can see the beautiful scoring they have in place. First place gets 25 points, scores all the way down to 20th. Don't think we will need 20th here today, as we have in total 24 drivers. Quite evenly split, actually. And talking about evenly split, we love to be on the IESN, the iRacing Esports Network, which you're watching your Camel GT fixed on right now. If you haven't subscribed yet, then head over to the YouTube page and do so to get notified when the Camel GT series returns again each and every week. And you know if you haven't subscribed to ISN yet, because that subscribe button will still be completely red.
Yeah.
Speaking about red, Adam, the first times are plopping in.
Yeah, we're taking a look right now at our qualifying. It's 2 laps and about they're at 8 minutes for this track, so that's a good thing. A little bit more time to get the times in. And yeah, our first times are in. We have Voli Rolla on provisional pole over Rob Olnick in the GTO class, but Phil Lake about 1.5 tenths behind. That's a surprise because we saw Voli Rolla and Philip Lake really close together on times in the practice time. So as we take a look at Phil Lake, yeah, he's got some damage, so that's actually probably impacting him a little bit on his times around here, Stefan.
Yeah, and let's see what he can do. Phil Lake coming to the line right now. 13th for him at 129.5. That is, 7/10 of Willy Roller right now.
Yeah, this is interesting. And Justin Albrecht, wow, Justin Albrecht taking pole by only 1/100th of a second exactly over Fabian Gerber. That's amazing. Amazing moves up there with Cy Andre in the third position. Tobias Gerber starting in fourth, it looks like, possibly.
Yeah, Sayandra already is himself 6/10 down on Fabian Gerber. And then Tobias Gerber in fourth place, only between them also just 2/100th between Sandra and Tobias Gerber. So, except for Gerber and Albrecht, Fabian Gerber and Justin Albrecht, it is super tight once again throughout the field.
It's actually, yeah, very, very, very tight throughout the field. Even the Audi GTOs, each of them only separated by a couple tenths at most. These guys are surprisingly quick, but Villi Rolla, quite an impressive pull time from him. As we're on board with, I believe this is Ove Trangrade, we're on board with, and Villi Rolla has pulled out a half-second gap for pole over Rob Olnick, so he's definitely got a qualifying set on board of that GTO.
Ove Trangrade already completed his 2 laps. The faster was his second lap at 13.448. As Johnny Bell is the next one to come over the line. But that is sadly a slow lap. John Keefe is right now out. But that's also a slow lap, so he might have had something there or just a practice start. Seems like everyone else is already. No, yes, Coleman is actually still running on a fast lap. And the first one to come. Oh no,
Yeah,
wait, he is now on a out. He's now on a fast lap. That's way too late.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get that time, and he's only got 10 seconds left in the session. And since this is an official session, one that anyone can join, viewers, you can jump in on this any week you'd like to, actually. And that's going to end right about now. The clock's going to tick down, and kapoof.
Kaboof, he went off the track. And onto the grid they now shall join, which will be led first of all by the pace car, second of all by Fabian Gerber. He put himself onto the pole there. Oh no, wait, sorry. Yeah, Justin Albrecht.
Ooh, that happened late.
Fabian Gerber obviously in second place, Sandra third. Tobias Gerber will round out the second row here today. David Ruff in fifth, Jamie Hall sixth, Lewis Emerton at number 14 took home seventh place, Eric Lukel eighth, John Keefe and Brian Molitor round out your top 10. Fabian Jungblut in 11th, Johnny Bell 12th, J.E. Hyde 13th, Ryan Lang and Juha Jalainen in 15th will round out your Nissan GTP field.
We'll go through the GTOs quick because they're going to get going really fast. Villi Rolla is going to be on pole alongside Rob Olnick. Phil Lake in third place. Reed Miller fourth. Nick Bucano starting off fifth. Ove Trangrade sixth. And Daniel Sadro starting off seventh. Michael Haynes is going to start eighth. And Jess Coleman didn't put in a time. He's going to start ninth for the GTOs.
Detroit, always known for being one of the hard tracks, for being known to be treacherous to the drivers. I think we might see a few mishaps here today, hopefully not too many. We have, as said, 24 drivers, 15 GTPs, and that makes 9 GTOs. Quick math. But yeah, Adam, what is your expectation of this race here today? Because we know the interaction between the two cars will probably be a little bit tight because of this narrow track.
Yeah, the first couple laps are going to be complete chaos with the tight quarters and the close racing. We're going to see a lot of people banging doors, and with how sensitive these two cars are to damage, that's something you do not want to do. So you're going to want to try and give people as much room as you can, but take everything that you can because track position is really important. It's nearly impossible to pass around here, Stefan.
Well, we shall see if Fabian Gerber can do something like that, or if Rob Olenek will be able to jump a Villi Rolla on the start, but here they now come up to the last turn. The pace car is going in now, and here now goes Justin Albrecht, nearly spins himself out on that start. Fabian Gerber sleeping a little bit, but Andra not able to do anything on that. Top 3 stay the same. Tobias Gerber loses a position to Jamie Hall, who jumps up to 4th place from 6th. Oh, and we have wreck.
Is a huge accident. The GTOs are going to have to claw their way through that as they come onto this straight. They're all dodging to the right. Looks like they're all going to miss it. That's a good thing, but the battle is on for second position. It looks like it's going to be Rob Olnick and Phil Lake side by side as they go into the first hairpin.
Yeah, Rob Olenek able to keep the upper hand there, but they have already closed up to the back end of the GTP field here. Ialainen, slowly there on that name. He is the back end right now, and what a great start by Johnny Bell. He's already up to, I think that's now 7th place from 12th place, so he was really lucky on that starting crash.
Yeah, and it's possible we might see some of these GTOs being faster than some of the GTPs, and that's going to cause some serious problems because the GTPs will get good speed on the straights, but the GTOs are going to be good off of the corners. They have really good acceleration with that four-wheel drive. So if they catch up to the back of this field, that's going to be trouble for Billy Rolla as he tries to navigate his way through this field.
So far, so not held up by Juha. I think those two are both Finns. I'm gonna lean myself out of that. Checking on the... Yes, both are Club Finland, so phew. Juha is Finland, and John Keefe diving into the pit lane. His car is too much damage to continue right now, so he has to take some repairs on his car. But over the line the first time they went, Justin Albrecht still leading ahead of Fabian Gerber and Sayaka.
Look now at Rob Olenek trying to hold off Phil Lake. Phil Lake not excited about it. Oh my goodness, and Ove Trangere clobbers the wall on the exit of the first two corners, and he has significant damage. He's going to have to park it.
Yeah, that really didn't look good there for Ove Trangere as we take you on to replay for this one here. Just over the hump once again. It catches out the car. He drifts already through that turn 2 onto the crest, and then just no way of seeing that.
Billy Rolla starting to take off from these guys ahead, but Rob Olenek still under pressure from Phil Lake. Phil Lake did not get a good exit onto this straight here, and so this is really unfortunate for him. He's kind of stuck behind Rob Olenek, who's seen that he has the pace of Billy Rolla, but this is not working out for him. He's going to have to get his way by Rob Olenek, but it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, and at least the good thing is for Ville Rolla is that Juha Ialainen is able to pull away from Ville, though he has no real problem about that. As from Olenek a little bit sideways there through turn 12, once again through turn 13, and it looks like Rob actually has a little bit of right front damage on my screen.
It wouldn't surprise me. You pick up damage really easily around this track, but you want to make sure that it doesn't affect your aero or your engine too much, because these Audi engines are extremely sensitive and you can lose power very quickly. Wow, Phil Lake sliding it over the hump as they get onto the straight. Rob Olenek able to keep pace, but Phil is right there with him. If Rob makes another mistake, Phil's going to be right there.
Your top 3 are still in the GTP. Justin Albrecht, who is starting to drive away a little bit from Fabian Gerber, who is driving away from Sai Andra and Jamie Hall, but Jamie Hall really looking a lot faster right now than Sai Andra, just because of the nature of this track and not really able to get past yet. One thing I just noticed is that Sai Andra has a little bit of damage there on his rear wing, but I think that's just for me looking at the roadcast, as Jamie Hall looks to the inside there. His side's better of it though. So
Yeah,
Jamie Hall...
I'm not so sure about the damage being just for you, Stefan. Jamie, looks like Sai Aldra has been taking the corners quite wide, and he's lost some top-end speed. Look at how fast Jamie Hall closes in. The draft is not that effective for the GTPs, but he's going on the inside now. Sai Aldra gives him the room. Jamie's not going to be able to get exit there.
Jamie Hall way too hard over the curb there. Drops on the inside, which is lower than the middle, and just nearly spins himself out there on the frontal. Jamie Hall losing because of that some few feet, but let's see how big the damage is for Sandra as we go now onto the long backstretch. I think, if I remember correctly, this is the longest straight here. Obviously a little bit bent, but not enough there for Jamie Hall, but he really did close in, so if he is close, he can most definitely make the move into turn 9.
Yeah, but because of the twisty turns around this track, Stefan, you're going to have a really hard time passing. It's one of those things where you have to make sure you set up the exits of the corner well, because taking these late apexes might help him a little bit, but he needs to make sure to get, Jamie Hall needs to make sure to get his wheels facing forward, facing straight down that straightaway as soon as he can. Otherwise, he's going to lose time to Sandra, but now's the time for the pass. Let's see if he can do it in one.
Tries around the outside, because given no other choice, Sayandra able to hold on to the place for now, but now he has a shallow entrance into turn 2. And he nearly spins, but that opens up the gap for Jamie Holt, and he blows past.
Yeah, good save from Syandra. That's something you're going to see a lot. A lot of these GTPs struggle over that hump because of how tight their suspensions are. It's almost like driving an Indy car, but with a really, really strong turbo and significantly bigger chassis. These guys are really struggling around this place.
Well, you can even do it in a Camaro pace car if you want to. There is no limitation to how you can miss race that hump. Either way, Tobias Gerber, he did close up a little bit because of that. So, Syandra, it's now the question, how good is his pace alone?
I'm actually going to take a look at Reed Miller and Nick McComas. Nick McComas has been closing up on Reed Miller. He needs to do that because his championship rival, Rob Olenek, who's currently leading the championship points, is 3 positions ahead of him. He needs to make up this place for the points championship to stay close.
Most definitely, Nicholas McCanus. Just right now, it looks a little bit as if he's tiptoeing around this track. Not really going all out right now, at least.
Yeah, it's entirely possible Nick Bacano's setup is a little bit too tight for his liking. It's not giving him the kind of power off the corner that he wants. He's not able to keep the car turned through the centers, and so that's allowing Reed Miller to stay ahead. But Reed doesn't have as much. He's not getting the power down as much as he would like either. So these two drivers struggling a little bit with their setups today.
One thing we didn't see is, it already happened a lap ago, Juha Ialainen, he actually had a spin, backed it into the wall, and he is now behind the battle of Reed Miller and Nicholas McCanus for that 4th place. So Juha might run up to these guys soon. Right now there's the front stretch between them as they head out of turn 2. He heads into turn 1, so there's still quite some time to go between them, but if they're not careful, Juha might be there fast, and that might be an advantage to one of these 2 cars.
Speaking of advantages, it looks like Phil Lake might have a pace advantage on Rob Olenek as this is starting to develop. Phil is extremely close. So he's going to look to the inside. Oh my goodness. That was quite ambitious. Did not work out for him, but he hasn't lost much time. Let's see where they can get him down his back straight with the draft of the Audis. He drifts out, and he's able to keep good pace. Let's see what happens here at the end of this straight.
Phil Lake slowly creeping into that gap, but not soon enough. Phil Lake once again has to stay put into turn 9, but maybe he can do something through the fountain section. We have seen some passes already through turns 10 and 11. Maybe setting himself up for turn 12. Let's see. Rob Olenek actually clattering the curbs quite heavily there. Nice drift out of the turn, but no chance for Phil Lake here. So once again, he has to wait maybe this time into turn 1 or maybe through turn 2 into turn 3. But yeah, Rob Olenek extremely loose right now, Adam.
Yeah, and so is Phil Lake, but Phil Lake likes that. He prefers that on his setups. As I mentioned last week, he prefers to have a much looser setup through the center of the corner, but that induces wheel spin on exit, and that doesn't get you as good of a launch. And so, as you can see, Rob Olenek pulling away from Phil Lake through these faster sections, because as we get onto the straights, Rob's got a better launch than Phil off the corners.
Speaking about a battle, well, the lead right now isn't won in the GTPs. Justin Albrecht about 2 seconds ahead of Fabian Gerber in that blue and white car behind. And as you can see, Gerber is able to keep pace, and last lap he was actually faster than Justin Albrecht. Now Justin Albrecht actually gets held up by Daniel Sadro.
And this is
Also
significant.
face.
Yeah, this is significant, Steven, because Fabian Gerber has been the car to beat. Justin Albrecht losing out to Fabian last week just by 1 lap. And so Fabian Gerber really trying to claw his way back right now, but he is extremely fast, especially as we get into the later portions of this race.
Lead now down to 1.3 seconds, so it did close in, just not enough for Fabian Gerber to reach up to Justin Albrecht.
And you can see on board how bumpy this track is in these cars. I mean, they're just completely getting shaken up in these vehicles. It's just not a comfortable ride around here. And all those bumps can really induce wheel spin from the rear and torque spin from those tires. And that can really spin you around. Isn't that right, Stefan?
Yeah, and one thing I have to say is that when I was still racing in VR, Detroit in this car was impossible for me to do because of how much shaking and baking this car does over the bumps. And in behind our leaders, Cy Andre is getting caught by Tobias Gerber, so what I suspected by what is happening with the damage of Cy Andre, it is starting to form up with him as Yuha has actually buried himself into the turn 1 exit.
Yeah, I think he just outbraked himself there, and he's now going to have to find his way back onto the track. But Tobias Gerber is catching Cy Andra, and while we were there, oh no, Eric Lukla has gone around. He's gone around on the pit exit.
Once P7, and now in a 9th place, if I read this correctly, Eric Lukely actually had some help as we go into the replay here into turn 1. There you can see him, Tokyo drifting around.
That, I mean, frankly, Steven, that's just, it's impressive that he didn't get more damage from that. Quite a deep lunge there from, wow, was that Johnny Bell that
Yes,
dove in
that
there?
is Johnny Bell there on the inside. Really ambitious move there by Johnny Bell.
Oh, and Eric has now bended. He's put it into the wall. We're gonna come back live and take a look at him, and he has put it in the wall on the exit of that last turn. So he's out.
Yeah, turn 6, too hot through the turn, and then not able to keep his car together on the outside as Olenek.
Yeah, Phil Lake just looking at this opportunity, and we got traffic. We got Fabian Gerber closing in behind them. Rob Olenek trying to hang on to it, but man, look at that, Steven. He's super loose on the entry of these corners.
Phil Lake, does he get a launch? It's a better launch this time, so he might be getting closer, but now here also comes Fabian Gerber from behind. Really doesn't help him and his chances for that 2nd place. So Phil Lake has to back up because of Fabian Gerber, and here now comes Rob Olenek, and both of them have a slide.
Yeah, Rob is going defensive around that corner. I'm not sure why. Maybe to block Fabian in, but that's not what you want to see right now. But maybe giving an opportunity to his teammate Justin Albrecht at the top of the GTPs. But Phil Lake really trying to work his way by Rob Olmec. He really has gotten held up now. Phil Rolla out to 7.3 seconds on track at this point.
Phil Lake still not finding a way around Rob Olenek. This must be getting frustrating at this point, because I would say Phil Lake right now is the faster car of these two.
Yeah, Tobias Gerber were trying to make his way past Cy Andra. They were side by side as they went through Sunset Bend, and now they're coming up on this battle here, and Cy Andra's going to get held up. Tobias Gerber's going to look for a way around. They're both going to shoot off of this straight. This is really dangerous. They're both in battles here, and they're going to go side by side in these battles as well. Phil Lake trying to find a way by, Tobias Gerber trying to find a way by.
Tobias Gerber goes past both of them, and in behind them, that's Lewis Emerton. That's already 5th place, so that is getting closer and closer and closer for that 3rd place. And here now comes Nick Mukanis on the inside of Reed Miller. Nearly touching there into turn 5, but Reed Miller able to defend his position for now.
Oh, what a close battle that was. That just shows the kind of chaos you can get in this multi-class scenario. But Nick Mukanis really getting a good run here. And we're going to go take a replay of this moment right here. It's quite a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, out of turn 3 into turn 4, actually, Reed Miller has to let Lewis Emerton by, and yeah, creates that, but thankfully for Reed Miller, nothing happened. But now here comes Jamie Hall, splitting this battle up yet again.
And this is just going to be the tail of the tape here around Detroit. Look how slow that GTP is off the corner compared to the Audi. That gives Reed Miller a full 2nd advantage. And that's something that you just have to deal with as a GTO. You have to be patient. You can't bump into these GTPs or you'll spin them and get in an accident yourself.
Up ahead, the battle actually now also gets some Guess and Andra and Tobias Gerber nearly side by side. Tobias Gerber once again thinks the better of it, not taking it really wide into turn 3. So
Oh my goodness.
Rob Olenek with the better launch, obviously, than Sai Andra.
Yeah, these guys are super tight. Everyone trying to snake their way through this sector. Man, Rob Olenek really struggling to keep it on the inside of that curve. He manages to, allows Tobias by, but Luis Emerson, oh my goodness, that is as close as you get.
But here now comes Phil Lake with the better launch than Rob Olenek because he had to lift there slightly. Phil Lake gets by, or does he? Who breaks later? Rob Olenek does break later into turn 9. Oh, detouch!
Oh, and Phil hangs on to it. He's able to make it through. Wow. Unbelievable move. Oh, what a battle.
Jamie Hall now sneaks past Rob Olenek. Or does he? No, he does. He also had a wiggle, quite a wiggle himself. Ooh, the battle for P3 in the GTP still is like they started heading into this battle, so that is still the same. But now, finally, Phil Lake past Rob Olenek.
Yeah, we'll see whether he has any pace for Villirola, but he used up a lot of his tires and a lot of his stuff trying to make that pass over Rob Olenek. It was a good battle, but he's now 10.5 seconds behind Villirola.
Nick Mucano's still behind Reed Miller for that 4th position in the GTO's class. And now John Keefe, the next to lefties too, does it on the left side. Now has to snake past them. There he goes.
He's actually not lapping them because of his earlier incident. John Keefe is actually on the same lap as these two, but he's really closed up the battle. Now Nick Mucano's right on the back of Reed Miller as they go into this sector.
Oh, Nick Mucano's thought about it, but then backed off again. Turn 5. So, yeah, Nick Mucano's, it still seems that he is the faster two of the two, just not able to convert. But now he got a better launch out of turn 6 through turn 7, turn 8. Let's see, does he do something? Can't.
Oh no, Fabian Gerber way off pace.
Oh, Tobias Gerber just spun Phil Lake.
Phil Lake's bad luck in this series continues as he has to take a pit. And look at this, Tobias Gerber really struggling right now, and he's going to pull over to the side of the road. He's going to try and make his way back to the pits.
Yeah, Tobias, that is actually, that happened way earlier because he was parked already in turn 9.
It was an incident with Michael Haynes, Stefan.
Let's see here from the chopper. Going into turn 9, it seems like he just missed his braking point and then got stuck there a little bit. He actually nosed it into the wall, backs it off, then has to wait there for Michael Haynes to also get moving.
Oh, Phil had nowhere to go. Oh, and then he spins him after the fact. Unbelievable. What a crazy course of events.
Talking about awkward racing situations, that's extremely awkward.
So he gets hit by Tobias Gerber here. Phil Lake goes by, and then Tobias spins him coming out of the corner. That is not going to go over well tonight.
That might lead to some gentle discussions about that incident in the paddock later on in the day. Either way, Justin Albrecht still leading, doesn't care about that fact. Now 7 and nearly 8 seconds ahead of Fabian Gerber.
That's quite a gap to pull right now. It's something that we haven't seen a lot out of Fabian. Fabian's usually got the class of the field, but looks like Justin Albrecht's got him beat today on pace. As long as he can hang on to it, that's going to work out. But Reed Miller is still under pressure from Nick Mucanos. Nick really does need to get by to close in that gap to Rob Olenek.
Nick Mucanos. When can he finally get past his teammate of Reed Miller? Actually, no, they're not teammates. I think they're both Dirty Torque, aren't they?
Yes, they're just different Dirty Torque teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's the fact that I was confused of. So, yeah, they're both teammates, but not really teammates. Up ahead, Rob Olenek not too far away from them. That is only 4 seconds between second and third there.
Yeah, Rob is losing pace to these two as they continue to battle, which is a little surprising. Rob has been fast all day, fast in practice, but something about as we get later on in this session, it's really starting to go away from him a little bit.
Last lap actually a full second slower than Reed Miller. So yeah, stuff is starting to develop.
Well, that last lap involved the incident with Tobias Gerber off track, and Rob, if you remember correctly, was just behind Phil Lake, so he was able to snake through. So that's probably why he lost all that time.
I wonder how that would have been if Phil Lake wouldn't have got past. But either way, that is what if questions, and we don't ask them. Either way, Justin Albrecht still your GTP leader, Ville Roller still your GTO leader. He is about, what is that, 11 seconds, 12 seconds ahead of Rob Olin.
Ville Roller really taking off. I mean, he's a significant, he's way ahead of the rest of the GTO field. And with Phil Lake now wrecked, there's not many people left on track who has the pace to challenge him. Ville Rolla coming in, not in the points standings. He's deciding not to compete, and so he's just kind of coming in as an upset a little bit. But man, Nick Lucano's really hounding Reed Miller right now. If he could get a good exit here, he might have it.
Let's see, that is actually a good exit out of turn 6. So Nick McConnell already has a little bit of overspeed through the right-hander. Take go through the left-hander now to Nick McConnell. Lines up on the right side. Has to break earlier though. Thus not able to do something in turn 9. And the better entry for Reed Miller means that he still stays in third place.
And that's just an example of how hard it is to pass around this track. I mean, like, even if you get a good launch off of the longest straight, he still didn't have enough time to make that pass. So it's just a real struggle around here.
Nick McConnell continues to be the predator here in this battle for third place. Ville Roller, just to close up on that story with him, his last lap time only 4 tenths slower than his personal best lap in this race.
Yeah, and actually coming up behind this battle on screen is the battle between Johnny Bell and J.E. Hyde. And looks like Johnny Bell is he might get held up here if he doesn't outbreak them into this corner, and he will. That's going to allow J.E. Hyde to really close up all the way onto the back of him. Now we got a battle in the GTPs as well.
Two white and purple/pink cars. A little bit hard to decipher between the two, but Johnny Bell is the leading car here, still held up here into turn 60 now go. This now is going to be the time where he will be able to pass at least one of them. Let's see if he can get both of them. Or is he even able to get one of them? No, he's not. He's backing off. No, now he is. So one, he gets the second one, he nearly touches.
And while we're doing this, Justin Albrecht as well going to slip into the back of this battle. Man, they're all off course. This is going to hold up Justin Albrecht significantly, and he's going to get cut off as well.
Justin Albrecht right behind Johnny Bell. Let's see, Johnny Bell now going over to the right side, letting Justin Albrecht past, not letting J.E. Hyde pass, so now he has to line up in second place to lap this battle for third place. And GTO's Reed Miller still ahead of Nick McCannus. Now goes Justin Albrecht to the right side of Nicholas McCannus and Reed Miller, so he does not disturb this battle.
Justin lost
next in line.
3 seconds on that, Steven. He lost 3 seconds during that battle, Justin did.
Here comes Johnny Bell, now goes to the right side of both of them, but also Nick McCannus has a run on Reed Miller. Does not do anything with it. Here comes now J.E. Hyde. Has to go over the inside curb and thus loses out to Nicholas McCannus, and Fabio Gerber also comes past at second place in the GTP standings.
Oh, he's going to go inside here. That's not a good place to pass a Jowdy, man. Nicholas McConnell's really good situational awareness there to stay on the outside. That is a really dangerous place to pass it out.
But here now comes Fabian Gerber past Reed Miller. So he is now past them to J.E. Hyde, still behind Nicholas Mikanos. Ooh, that is a little bit dicey there. Into turn 9, stays out of the car of Nicholas Mikanos though, and holds him up a little bit, obviously. Oh, nearly into the wall of turn 10. Nicholas Mikanos once again has to get out of the throttle there.
Yeah, looking back from Miller, Jay Hyde just kind of throwing his car around, really holding up Nicholas Mikanos. Reed Miller now out to about 1.3 second lead over Nicholas Mikanos. Jay Hyde really struggling to get by now.
This time he should be able to do so through turn 14. They go side by side, and now Reed Miller actually did lift a little bit there.
Allows Nick Mikanos to close the gap.
Nicholas Mikanos, and now it is 0.6 seconds there between the two. So, yeah, pretty sure Nicholas Mikanos will quite soon close that gap once again. And by the way, we only have 13.5 minutes left.
And we only have 14 cars remaining out of the 24 that started this race. The attrition is high today.
Lewis Emerton, another battle developing for third place this time. No, also for third place, obviously. Lewis Emerton and Cy Andra fighting for that third place. The white car ahead is Cy Andra right now sitting in third place. So one thing we can say, Cy Andra really hurting from his damage, but he's really able to hold on because of the attrition that he has been able to avoid so far.
Yeah, I mean, even with his significant aerodynamic damage, I mean, look how bent that 007 cam is. He's able to hold position, and he's been consistent, which is currently nets him a podium position if he can hold on to it. But we know how fast Lewis Emerton is. As long as he can stay consistent, he will make it by eventually. He just needs to pace himself.
Jamie Hall not too far behind them either, so he has to be careful because especially Jamie Hall is a full second faster lap than Cy Andra, so he probably will close up in the next lap or two. Yeah, so Lewis Emerton has to do it quick, or he will also have to fend off Jamie Hall, and I think that might be a battle that he is nearly prone to lose with that speed difference between the two.
Yeah, Lewis Emerton just needs to not get eager. He just needs to run his pace and know that Cy Andra's slow on the straights. That's going to allow him to get by if he can get set up. So he just needs to run his race. He knows he's got better pace than Cy Andra, so that he can just ease his way up there, and then when it comes to a straight, just slip right by.
Not too far ahead of these three cars is the battle for P3 in the GTOs. Nicholas Mikanos still behind Reed Miller. They are now going into turn 9 through the braking zone. So Cy Andra soon maybe getting held up by this battle here on screen now.
Yeah, Nick Mikanos he can't find his way by, so he's going to need some GTP help to make his way by this battle, and it looks like it might be coming in the form of Cy Andra, Lewis Emerton, and Jamie Hall.
Just one more straight between the two. They are already able to see Nicholas Mikanos. So Cy Andra not too far behind now. That is probably about like 4 seconds on track. As they're now heading through turn 1 and now through turn 2, Cy Andra. He is going to be on the back coming to turn 6.
This is going to be a little interesting here. He's going to be behind these Audis as they go through the slow portion. That's actually a good thing because they're about equal on pace through these slow portions of the track. But that is going to hold him up a little bit, and Lewis Emerton's going to get right on his bumper. Cy Andra needs to be patient here with these Audis because he knows that he's a little bit down on pace. But look at Nick Mikanos close that gap. Cy Andra's going to look to the outside here. He decides better of it, which is really smart. But Lewis Emerton's faster on the straights. Let's see what happens here.
I said turn 6, I meant turn 3. Either way, Cy Andra now on the back of Nicholas Mikanos, but Lewis Emerton also on the back of Cy Andra. And there's not too much of a speed difference between the two GTPs, as obviously also Jamie Hall is now on the back of that battle, and he actually isn't able to lap either one of those two, but Lewis Emerton really getting bogged down by Reed Miller.
Now Lewis Emerton really trying to find his way by. He's going to duck to the inside on the hairpin.
Oh!
Yep, he gets cut off because there's no way you're going through there. And that allows Reed Miller to really take off because now he's got 2 GTPs between himself and Nick McCaus. He goes on the inside again.
That was really small, that gap there between Lewis Emerton and Reed Miller, but no harm and no foul. Jamie Hall now also passed Reed Miller because of that. Nicholas Mucanos not able to do anything with that near incident.
Oh, but he's got a good run now.
Here he comes, Reed Miller defending to the right side, Nicholas Mucanos on the outside. The left side, he breaks later on the outside. Will he be able to also get a drive out of turn 3? Yes, he does, because Reed Miller makes the mistake.
Wow, what a move. A really good, powerful move from Nick Mucanos. Miller just kind of turning it a little bit too early. That was amazing. Watch this from the helicopter, but
yeah, Reed Miller, he tried everything there and it just didn't work for him. He just made another mistake out of turn 6, so that's really sealed the deal on that P3 battle. Reed Miller and now about 1.5 seconds behind Nicholas Mucanos in 4th place.
and Jamie Hall has not left Lewis Emerton alone for P4 in the GTPs as Cy Andre's getting held up by Rob Olenek in 2nd place for the GTOs. But Jamie Hall has been really close to Lewis Emerton throughout this time. But look at that, Cy Andre really held up ahead, and Lewis Emerton now closing the gap. They're going to try and make their way by Rob Olenek here on this straight. And oh, Jamie Hall hits the outside wall on exit. That's going to significantly damage him.
I actually think he was a little bit lucky with that as we take you onto the replay to see how much damage he really did get from that wall hit. Let's see, turns into turn 13 now, and yeah, that's just up there for him, and he still is in the race for that 3rd position between Cy Andre, Lewis Emerton, and himself.
So he's going to hold on to that position. Lewis Emerton close to Cy Andre, but Cy Andre's actually got some good pace through the slower bits, and that's probably because he's not getting as much tire wear on those tires because of his downforce decrease. So he's got cooler tires than the rest, which probably allows him to take these slower corners with a little bit more aggressiveness.
Not too far up the road, this battle for P6 in the GTPs is still going on between Johnny Bell and J.E. Hyde. So these two have found each other again, showing that J.E. Hyde is that little bit faster than Johnny Bell as they now head over the line for the 23rd time.
Yeah, we've seen these battles. Most of these battles have been going on since the drop of the green flag, and that's just because of how hard it is to pass around here. It's narrow, it's bumpy, it's hard to get speed off the corners, but look at that, J.E. Hyde with quite a bit more speed down the straight. He really gained a lot of time on Johnny Bell there. And who's that? I believe that's Michael Haynes off course that they passed by.
Michael Haynes hitting one of the tire barriers for, I think that's now the 4th time that I've seen him on the outside of one of our camera shots. Michael Haynes, and we can see him once again making that mistake. Seems like he just did outbrake himself ever so slightly, not making the turn and gently hitting that barrier.
And actually, could we possibly get a lap comparison between Justin Albrecht and Fabian Gerber? Fabian Gerber has closed the gap now to 2 seconds. This is for the lead in GTP. These guys are really close. And Justin might be managing the gap, but Fabian has been gaining a little bit over the last couple of laps I've been noticing.
I don't know if he's managing the gap or if just Fabian Gerber has upped his pace by that much. But that also obviously means that he might be pushing a little bit hard right now. And we know how quickly this track can bite someone.
Yeah, and he's only got about 5 minutes left to do this if Fabian wants to challenge for the lead. So he's going to have to get up there. But that being said, the next lap car for Justin Albrecht is only 9 seconds ahead. So that's going to... This battle's not over. They're going to have to deal with lap traffic before this race is done.
That lap traffic will be John Keefe off at this point, but he will probably get past Reed Miller soon.
Oh, look at this three place battle. We got Lewis Emerton on the outside of, oh my goodness, Syandra cuts him off, and now they go at each other.
Oh, and another hit there between Jamie Hall and Syandra.
Oh, and Jamie Hall's
Oh,
car is
Jamie.
toast.
Seems like that started because Syandra got held up by Roller through turns 1 and 2.
Yes,
And then
look at him, he just puts his car just right in front of Lewis Emerton. There was no room there. He just turns left in front of him. Quite surprising. Not something I expected out of these drivers.
actually, Syandra seemed to hold his line, but Lewis Emerton had. Seems like Lewis Emerton turbo kicked in and he wasn't prepared 100% for that. Turns Syandra. Yeah, just really awkward there between them. Oh,
Lewis-
and one thing we missed is Nicholas Mecanos got past Reed Miller. We actually have the replay of that, so let's have a look at that.
I was on the front straight. Take a look at this. Looks like Reed Miller defending well, and Nick Mukanos, yeah, just goes around the outside here. This is the replay that we didn't really get time to show before. Reed Miller clipping that inside barrier, and Nick Mukanos going by on the outside on the grass.
Yeah, I just realized that we were actually on that move, but either way, there's the replay once again for that third place pass. Great to
And-
show.
Stefan, the lead has just evaporated in GTP. Justin Albrecht got held up significantly by Nick Mukanos, and that allows Fabian Gerber to close in behind.
So much action that we're forgetting about some of the action already. Here is the hold-up once again. We're gonna have a look here from the top once again. Our chopper crew just perfectly did. Justin Albrecht actually hit the wall there ever so slightly. That was mighty close between himself and the wall on the outside of turn 2. But either way, that has really closed in the gap for that first place battle.
At the battle for the lead with only about 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. This is going to be really close. These guys, they're going to have about 2 more laps, I believe, to do this. And look at this. They're behind Michael Haynes now. Justin Albrecht getting held up. Michael Haynes pulling over to the side. And Fabian Gerber's going to get by as well.
Next up, John Keefe on the to-do list for Justin Albrecht. Just a couple of 100 meters between them. So Justin Albrecht will be working very hard to defend his place from Fabian Gerber, as John Keefe now is trying to lap Rob Olenek. Oh, this is gonna get a major hold up.
I don't
Here
know how.
comes-
Okay. Good move by Keefe to let Justin Albrecht by. That could have been really messy.
John Keefe off the to-do list for Justin Albrecht, still on the to-do list for Fabian Gerber. Let's see how he does at that one, and they now go onto the back stretch between turns 6 and 9. Fabian Gerber now going into the draft of John Keefe. Will he do it easy or will he stay on the throttle? He stays on the throttle and
Oh, he lets him
interferes not with the battle because Fabian Gerber just able to break that much later.
Yeah, that was a good move from John Keefe to let both of the leaders by without holding either of them up. Actually gave Jeff Fabian a little bit of draft on that straight. Not that draft helps that much in the GTP, but now Justin Albrecht really pulling away, showing that he's still got some pace in that car.
Coming to the white flag, Justin Albrecht, just about 30 seconds to go. So he is now getting held up the white flag in the air. Next car to lap will be Ryan Lang. He's now going under the Chevy bridge, so we might not see Justin Albrecht getting impeded by Ryan Lang.
And the next car ahead of that is Vili Rolla. Vili Rolla, what a commanding performance from him today. He will be, I think he'll have to go one more time around because Justin Albrecht took the white flag that last time. So unless Justin gets by him, Vili Rolla's going to have another lap after this one. But what a commanding performance from him today.
Justin Albrecht already on the backstretch. It's still a few hundred meters between himself and Ryan Lang, so I'm pretty sure Ryan will stay out of this, saying that he has already closing quite a lot through turn 9, so maybe Ryan gets a little bit in the way, but shouldn't be all too much. Fabian Gerber still about 1.5 seconds back from Justin Albrecht.
Yeah, this might get a little hairy at the line, but I think they should be fine. Let's see what happens here as they go through Sunset Bend.
Turn 12, turn 13, and now safely navigated. Villarola doesn't want to have another lap. He lets him pass Justin Albrecht. Also, Ryan Lang goes behind him. So Justin Albrecht with that wins here in the race in Detroit ahead of Fabian Gerber. And third place goes to Lewis Emerton, who is still only on the backstretch.
Billy Rolla taking the win for the GTOs with Rob Olenek and Nick McConos closing out those positions. And Lewis Emerton, yeah, he's going to... Rob Olenek, yep, I believe that he just finished his race, so Lewis Emerton's going to be our third place finisher if he can make his way through these guys and close his way safely to the finish line.
Adam, that 2 cars ahead of him is actually a battle that is for 5th place still between Johnny Bell and J.E. Hyde. Lewis Emerton decides to stay behind them. Let's see, Johnny Bell able to navigate the second last turn. Yes, he is safe with J.E. Hyde, so unless he runs out of fuel quite drastically, he will take home that 5th place. So he does. Johnny Bell 5th, J.E. Hyde 6th, and behind them, Lewis Emerton comes home in 3rd place. With that, the last few cars have crossed the line. So with that, we will be shortly back after some messages with the Kamel GT Championship post-race show. Welcome you all back to the Kamel GT post-race show, streaming to your home on the iRacing eSports Network. And today's race, once again, was won by Justin Albrecht in the Nissan GTP, but only 1.1901 seconds ahead of Fabian Gerber in second place. Lewis Emerton, the big climber in the top 4 for that GTP from 7th up to 3rd place. Syandra, after a little bit of damage, he dropped one position from 3rd to 4th. 1.5 minutes though behind Justin Albrecht. Johnny Bill, already the first car to be a lap down, in 5th place. 6th place went to J.E. Hind, Ryan Lang with 7th. John Keefe takes home 8th place in the GTP field. And then we have Willy Roller taking home 1st place in the GTOs, 9th overall. Rob Olenek, 10th place goes to him, or 2nd place in the GTOs.
Nick Bukanos is coming home in 11th place overall, or 3rd place in the GTOs. Reed Miller, 4th place in the GTOs. Daniel Sadro, 5th. Jamie Hall coming home in 9th for the GTPs. Tobias Gerber in 10th for the GTPs. And then Eric Lukel in 11th for the GTPs. And 12th for the GTP. No, 11th for the GTPs, and Juha Lialainen in 11th for the GTPs. Now we're gonna. This is quite a scrambled grid. So Michael Haynes in 6th for the GTOs, Philip Blake in 7th for the GTOs, and Ove Trangerade 8th for the GTOs.
Next up, Fabian Youngblood, David Rumpf, Brian Molitor, yes, Coleman. Obviously, all of them didn't finish. Everyone passed Michael Haynes. Jamie Hall actually didn't finish, so 14th down, didn't finish. That means 11 cars. Sadly, didn't see the checkered flag here today. And the first guy to talk to us is Fabian Gerber. Fabian,
Hello.
what a race from you. You brought the fight back to Justin Albrecht, just not enough. What is your thoughts?
No, it was not enough. You're right. I had loads of bad luck in the beginning of the race. In the first 12 laps, I lost so much time in traffic. I kind of got a bit of luck back to get back to Justin, but it was just too much a matter of traffic today. And he was fast enough anyway, so I would have needed a mistake from him to be able to overtake him. So I congratulate him. It was a great drive from him.
Speaking about traffic, we all know Camel GT can be on the crazy side of things, let's just put it like that, traffic-wise, but Detroit is so much more special traffic-wise. How crazy was it out there today?
It was okay. It's just I didn't see anyone who did something crazy or really bad, except maybe a Nissan or two, but the Audis were actually very good. They sometimes can't do anything, so they just have to drive on, and in the Nissan you have to wait. That's all you can do. So it's just if you're lucky, you can get in front of them before this part of the track, and if you're not lucky, then you're behind and stuck and lose maybe 4 seconds a lap if you go there.
Well, waiting was the point to go for you up into 2nd place from 2nd place, so really didn't gain anything there. Either way, looking out to next week, we have a little bit more of an interesting track, a track that isn't raced too often in the Camel GT series. It's Okayama International Circuit. How are you looking forward to that?
Hard to say. It's not really my favorite track at all. But it's kind of it's just a track. I don't know. I'll give my best anyway, and I'll try my best. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Well, best of luck to you for next week, and once again, congrats on that 2nd place, and thanks for talking for us.
Thank you very much, guys. See you next week. Bye bye.
That was Fabian Gerber, your 2nd place finisher in the GTP Nissan ZX Turbo GTP. Next up, your 4th place finisher, Syandra.
Yeah, Sai, a familiar face to us because you run with the Autobahn on Mondays for us, but not so familiar in the Camel Series this season. How'd you enjoy your first race here with us this season?
Well, I mean, I picked one of the toughest tracks to join in at, and I enjoyed myself for certain. I think I would have enjoyed myself a little bit more if I didn't pick up that left side damage early on. But it was really fun holding off Jamie and Emerton. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
speaking of left side damage, you picked that up very early on. How much did that affect your pace, do you think?
Oh, a ton. And not so much of the balance of the car, but it robbed me of at least 10, maybe 5 to 10 kph on every single straight. And that let Jamie get his early pass on me, and then let Lewis close in as well, because every straight I was losing 2, 3, 4 tenths.
And so with losing those time on the straights, how how difficult was it making your way through the traffic, especially with that damage?
The traffic wasn't too bad. It was definitely an issue at the end of the straights because the Audis aren't that much slower than us, and they definitely get a better exit out of the corners with their four-wheel drive. So it was a little bit of I had to make a couple of late dives and a couple of high-speed exit passes. But other than that, it was pretty good. But it definitely gave Lewis and Jamie an advantage catching me. So I kind of played with the traffic a little bit. I didn't pass them as quickly as I could have, so I had to make them wait, as well as making them pass in places where it wasn't good for them and getting by the traffic where it was good for me. And I think that helped me stay ahead of them for longer than I should have.
Awesome. Well, the series is rolling to Okayama next week. Can we look forward to seeing you there?
Most likely, yes. It's a track that I like quite a lot. It's going to be interesting in these cars for sure. I don't think we've ever driven them there, to my knowledge. But lots of kind of high-speed sweepers, lots of low-speed hairpins as well. So getting the power down is going to be interesting.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the top 5 coming home in 4th today, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Thanks. Disappointed it wasn't a podium, but fourth place, first time back is not bad.
All right. And that was Sai Andra, our 4th place finisher in the GTPs. Stefan?
Yeah, and once again, quite the race by the Kamel GT community here today. And speaking about race, that was, I don't know, it's starting to seem like a little bit of a standard for the series, Adam.
Yeah, quite a bit of attrition. There was a little bit more than we expected, and it was kind of a difficult race for everybody. And some really interesting last minute moves, last minute dives to the inside. Those things aren't going to work very well in a multi-class scenario. The Audis were doing a pretty good job of dodging the GTPs. And the GTPs were doing a pretty good job of passing the Audis in good spots. But every once in a while, someone decided that they needed to get by right now. And pretty much every time it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, pretty much. So action, as always, guaranteed in the Kamel GT series. But sadly, we have to close off today's broadcast. As always, GSRC would like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially the Kamel GT community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Furthermore, we'd also like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us and allowing us to show you some great classic race cars in the form of the Audi 90 and the Nissan ZXT. Once again, make sure to subscribe to the IESN channel if you haven't done so yet. Right now, on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chunalon to provide us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more for great work. As already mentioned, the Kamel GT Championship will return in 1 week's time for round 9 of this season from Okayama International Circuit. iRacing and GSRC will be there. We hope you'll be too. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms: Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our other series are right now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another segment of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Adam, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Justin Albrecht and Ville Rolo took away the victories from the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle. With that said, until next time, stay and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.